Hi, my name is Mary Corrigan and I'm talking about alopecia areata and hair loss today. If this is your first visit to my uploads, welcome. And if you're watching this because you have already watched my other uploads, welcome back. Just to recap, this was me 3 years ago. 4 weeks after these photos were taken, I was 90% bald. However, I went on to successfully regrow my hair and I want to share this experience with you. Today I'm going to talk about stress and its impact on hair loss. Every doctor I saw immediately said that stress was probably the primary cause of my hair loss. Any other woman I have spoken to with alopecia or diffuse hair loss have been told the same thing. Unfortunately, many women feel they have no option but to take what they are being told as fact, even though they may suspect otherwise. During my most recent dealings with alopecia areata, I was told stress was the probable cause of 3 small patches on the back of my head. The doctor reached this conclusion based on the following. I had 3 young children, aged 8, 7 and 3, respectively. My husband had recently returned to work after a long period of redundancy, and I was a full-time stay-at-home mum. As far as I was concerned, I was no different to thousands of mums up and down the country, and I could not see why my lifestyle at that time was particularly stressful. I reminded the doctor that 3 years earlier my 3rd child was delivered by caesarean section. A week after the delivery, I was hospitalised with MRSA infection in the wound, and a week after that my husband was made redundant. If that situation was not stressful enough to induce hair loss, I don't know what is. I then remembered back to my previous other 2 brushes with alopecia areata. First, when I was 18 and sitting my A-levels. I felt the now familiar little patches on the back of my scalp and was diagnosed with exam stress by my doctor. These 2 patches regrew within weeks and I forgot about it relatively quickly. Then, 7 years later, when I was getting married, I again felt, a couple of weeks before the big day, the familiar little patches on the back of my head, and once again stress was diagnosed, this time wedding nerves being cited as the probable cause. Once again these patches regrew very quickly. Then, fast forward 14 years to when I was being diagnosed with stress again. However, this time it was different. I soon went from 2 patches to 5 patches, and they all grew to the size of a large coin. I decided to have my hair cut from this length to a more manageable bob length. Things seemed to settle down over the next 3 months, and I heaved a sigh of relief. We went on holiday to Florida, where I discovered a small patch at the front of my hairline, but did not get stressed out about it at this stage, as I felt there was some strange anomaly going on in my body, but I had so much hair the odd patch here and there could easily be hidden. However, within weeks of returning from holiday, the patches were growing hair, but then my hair started shedding by the handful. Every time I brushed my hair, or I was in the shower, or ran my fingers through it, they were clogged with hair. Washing it was definitely the worst. The drain would be clogged, and I even started reducing the frequency I washed my hair in a frantic effort to reduce this mass shedding. I returned to the doctor and there was confusion over the fact that I had moved on from alopecia areata to chronic hair diffuse shedding. A quick tip here: if you are shedding your hair in abundance when you go to the doctor, take a photo of you with your former crowning glory. This had the maximum impact with my doctor. Once again, stress was diagnosed, although a range of blood tests were conducted at the same time. Now, these are the points I would like to make about stress and hair loss. Firstly, losing your hair is in itself an extremely stressful situation, so do remind your doctor of this. Ordinarily, you probably feel you're quite a together kind of person, and this wailing heap on your doctor's floor is not a true reflection of you. Hair loss has probably made you this way. Look at your current lifestyle and how you have been living over the past 3 to 4 months. Is there anything different from the norm? Is your life in any way more stressful than stressful situations you have found yourself in the past? For example, have you suffered a bereavement, divorce or a relationship breakup? Have you been made redundant or had a change in your job? Are you happy with your life in general? Look at the stress in your life. Is it a good stress that works for you? I used to work in a busy office, and that bit of pressure used to produce my best work. Remember, we live in the 21st century, which is in itself a stressful environment to be in. So is anything different in your life? Now, the next thing may be of particular interest to you ladies losing your hair who are regular gym bunnies or regular dieters. When I look back at my 3 experiences of alopecia areata, I could understand why the first 2 could be written off as stress-related. Then I thought a little harder and remembered something that I think may be more relevant. On each of the 3 occasions that I suffered alopecia areata, I was also several weeks into a strict diet exercise regime. During my A-levels, I was doing an awful lot of swimming and aerobics, as well as dieting to lose a stone for my 6th form ball. The second time I was also dieting and exercising to get into my wedding dress, and on the 3rd occasion I was dieting and exercising to lose weight to go on a sunshine holiday to Florida. I now think this is more relevant than stress to my situation. Whenever I dieted, I severely cut back on everything, including protein. Plus, when you are exercising hard, you need the extra nutrition to maintain your body's daily functioning. I believe the combination of the 2 were quite relevant to this situation. It also takes approximately 3 months for the effects to show in the form of hair loss. Although I went on to have further hair loss problems before I returned to this, I do believe that the diet and exercise regime were the catalyst of all that was wrong in my body and ultimately resulted in chronic hair loss. I pulled the hair loss trigger by putting too much strain on my body and not being sympathetic to its needs. If you suspect this may be the potential trigger for your hair loss, speak to your doctor about it. Ask to get a serum ferritin blood test to see if you are under 80 nanograms per milliliter. Although you may not be anemic, you may be short of iron. A lot of women who exercise regularly, particularly runners, may be innocently unaware that they are depleting their iron stores as well as their nutritional levels to the point which results in hair loss. If you suspect this may be a contributory factor towards your hair loss, please watch my YouTube upload on hair loss and supplements, which goes into this area in a lot more detail. When stress is applied to our body in either a physical or mental form, the body has to do its best to protect itself. If this occurs over a prolonged period of time, hair is an obvious target to shut down, as it is not essential for survival. Chemicals are released which instructs hair follicles to prematurely enter the telogen, or the resting phase, of the hair cycle. Unfortunately, this disrupts the whole hair growth cycle. Despite the normal shedding taking place within the next 2 to 4 months, all the additional hair that was resting will not only fall out, but the new growth will not have occurred to take its place. This will result in the thinning of hair. If you are not careful, the condition can be exacerbated by the very fact that you are suffering stress due to the excess hair loss, and you end up in a downward spiral of stress and hair loss. It is also worth noting that chronic stress can reduce blood flow to the gut, leaving it unable to repair itself, which will also have an impact on the effectiveness of its ability to absorb nutrients. If you are susceptible to stress, try and do something to counteract the stress in your life. It is not always feasible for everyone to give up a stressful job or to go and do a yoga class, but perhaps you could try using a yoga DVD in the comfort of your own home. If this is not your thing, find some other activity that lowers your heart rate, relaxes you and makes you smile. It could be a drink with friends, reading a good book, or relaxing in a bubble bath. Whatever it is, try and have some me time each day when you can be completely selfish and think only of what is good for you and unwind. Unless you've had a major shock which can result in almost instantaneous hair loss, I'm doubtful that mental stress in itself is the ultimate cause. I do believe that it can be a major contributory factor, but there would be more than likely other things wrong with your health or your body in general that are contributing to your hair loss. Finally, even to the most sceptical person with regards to supplements, please do try adding L-lysine to your diet. L-lysine is an essential amino acid which plays a key part in the growth of hair. It is also often found in very low quantities in people suffering from low serum ferritin levels. So try taking a 500 mg L-lysine supplement twice a day, once in the morning with your breakfast, once in the evening with your dinner. Also, make sure you are eating adequate protein and drinking sufficient water, 1 to 1.5 litres a day, to give your hair a kick start. I hope you found this information thought-provoking, and maybe it will give you a couple of clues as to what may have triggered your hair loss. Hopefully you will try out some of the suggestions in an effort to resolve your hair loss problem. I always found doing was better than just sitting around hoping that my hair would heal itself. Good luck, and do check back in a few days for further uploads regarding alopecia areata and hair loss. In the meantime, if you have any questions, please contact me either through YouTube or my website www.whatsupwithmyhair.com. Thank you.